Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a concept that completely flips our modern idea of a fair deal on its head. We're talking about the ancient idea of a divine covenant. All right, let's get into it. So, our story kicks off with this incredible image from the Hebrew Bible. It paints a picture of perfect, easy fellowship. I mean, just imagine it. Human leaders sitting in the presence of God himself, just sharing a meal. It's this picture of total harmony, right? A world where the divine and the human are just perfectly connected. But as the story goes, that harmony, well, it was fragile. And to really get our heads around the proposed solution, we have to understand this idea of a covenant. And let me tell you, it's not just a fancy word for a contract, it is something else entirely. I mean, think about how our world works, right? You've got business deals, prenups, international summits like the G20. They all run on the same basic principle, negotiation. The whole point is to get to a win-win where both sides protect their own interests and walk away with something they wanted. But a divine covenant? Whoa. As you can see here, it's not a deal between equals at all. It's a completely one-sided promise. The stronger party, in this story, God, starts the whole thing, and it's all for the benefit of the weaker party. There's zero negotiation. The stronger one just willingly, intentionally accepts all the risk and all the cost. So here's the absolute key point. In this framework, the all-powerful being volunteers to be what we would call the biggest loser. They put absolutely everything on the line, while the other party has literally everything to gain. It's a completely one-sided commitment. It's wild when you think about it. And that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, why would you ever enter into an agreement that seems so imbalanced? The text suggests the answer isn't in just one event, but it's a long, unfolding story of promise after promise after promise. So let's actually trace how this whole idea builds up. The narrative shows this really consistent pattern. Humanity messes up, breaks the relationship, and God's response isn't to just walk away. It's to double down with a new and even deeper promise. And this timeline just illustrates that pattern so perfectly. First, after the flood, you get this huge promise to all of humanity. Then it narrows down to just one family with Abraham. Then to a whole nation with Moses. And then to a kingdom with David. You see the pattern? Each time the human side fails, the divine promise gets more specific, more personal, more intimate, culminating in this incredible prophecy of a new covenant, one that wouldn't be about external rules, but would actually change people from the inside out. So after hundreds and hundreds of years of these escalating promises and, let's be honest, repeated human failures, the story builds to what it presents as the final, ultimate act of this one-sided commitment. These words, spoken by Jesus at the Last Supper, are positioned as the climax of the entire story. This is the moment right here where that new covenant promised by the prophet Jeremiah is said to be fulfilled. It's the ultimate one-sided deal, sealed not with a rainbow or some ritual, but with the very life of the one making the promise. Okay, so that's the ancient story. But what on earth does this theological idea of a covenant have to do with us today, living in the 21st century? I mean, really, why does this matter? It matters because we live in a world built almost entirely on contracts. Everything is transactional. We protect ourselves with legal clauses and carefully worded emails because, let's face it, pure trust can feel like a huge liability. We are conditioned in pretty much every area of our lives to avoid being the biggest loser in any deal we make. And this table just lays out the difference so clearly. A contract mindset is all about self-protection, right? Securing your own assets. If the other person breaks the terms, the whole deal's off. But a covenant mindset, that's about self-giving commitment. It's focused on building a future for other people, and it's designed to endure even through failure, based simply on a promise. You know, the source material here suggests that so many of the good things we just take for granted, things like stable societies, public institutions, even enduring family legacies, they exist because previous generations operated with more of a covenant mindset. Think about someone planting a tree, knowing they'll never sit in its shade, or scientists starting research they know their students will have to finish. They were investing in a future they wouldn't see, committing to something way bigger than their own immediate gain. And that really leaves us with a pretty provocative question. In our own families, our workplaces, our communities, we are absolute experts at making contracts. We've got that down. But what could we create if we actually dared to make covenants? What could we build if we chose selfless commitment over self-preservation? What might actually be possible then?